What up, everybody? It's Frank Mula back at it again with another video today. You're watching Level Up, Double Down, where we don't play around unless it's video games. Now, if this video was helpful for you, subscribing to the channel is the best way to support my work and see more content like it. According to YouTube's analytics, 98% of you guys who watch my videos are not even subscribed, which is a sad state of affairs. The more subs I can get, the more YouTube's algorithm can boost my content to reach more like-minded people, which in turn helps the channel grow and allows me to create more and better content for you guys. So consider doing me a solid. That's all I ask, and I hope I can earn your support today. And if you're already subscribed, then I want to express my deepest appreciation for your gesture. So with that out the way, let's go ahead and get things started. So on today's episode, I'll be showing you guys how to shuck a hard drive from an external enclosure. So you might be asking yourself, what is shucking a hard drive? Pause. To make it short and simple, basically what that means is I'll be extracting or removing the hard drive that's currently encased within this enclosure in order to repurpose that same hard drive for another one of my upcoming projects, or in other words, I'll be turning this repurposed hard drive into an internal hard drive that'll become part of a new upcoming PC rig I'll be building later this month. So stick around to the channel for more details. This is going to be a quick and easy video explaining to you guys how the process works, which is the main way I go about obtaining high capacity storage drives I currently own. I've been doing this practice since 2015 when 4 GB was the max capacity limit for a 3.5-inch drive right before manufacturers such as Western Digital and Seagate started making the storage sizes for hard drives much more dense. External hard drives can be less expensive compared to internal hard drives that are being sold bare, so it makes financial sense for someone to go this route if they want to save money. From my experience over the past 10 years, it has been the better economical alternative when you take into account how much server enterprise drives or bare OEM drives are going for currently. However, I wouldn't depict this endeavor as always being peaches and cream. You may run into a situation where the drive may malfunction or roughly stop working after minimal usage, which will then result in you having to submit an RMA to the manufacturer, whether that be Western Digital or Seagate for that matter, which I've had to do both. As you can see, I have 2 Seagate expansion external hard drives in front of me. One of them being a 26 terabyte capacity I purchased from B&H this past June of last year for $250, while the other one contains a 22 terabyte capacity I purchased earlier this month directly from Seagate for $240. Now, even though I got a worse deal for the 22 terabyte purchase I made, I consider that a tolerable outcome when you take into account the current state of the market for digital storage, all things considered. However, in today's video, I'll be shucking a 26 terabyte drive for your viewing pleasure. Now, with that out the way, I'll be demonstrating for you what the process of shucking a drive looks like and what that entails. Before beginning, if you're going to replicate these steps, then it is highly advisable that you test out the drive beforehand to ensure its reliability, so you have the opportunity to either make an exchange or return it, because dismantling this drive will void the warranty. I'll be trying my best to remove the drive from its enclosure without destroying the overall structural integrity so that the enclosure could be reused. However, the brittle nature of the retention tabs underneath that hold the enclosure together make that goal hard to accomplish. First off, you'll need some supplies, starting off with a guitar pick. Next, you'll need some spudgers, although they may not be all that necessary, followed by some expired gift cards or hotel keys, and lastly, a thin, flat-edged tool such as a razor blade. But in this instance, I'm using a pocketable multi-tool containing an awl, AWL. You'll eventually need a Phillips head screwdriver, but that'll occur later in the video. So you want to start off by locating a visible seam in between the edges where 2 separate surfaces coincide or attach, such as in the corner, which can be spotted at an angle. Now it's time to use a thin flat-edged tool to penetrate, pause, in between the seam, so that way you can wedge either a guitar pick or a plastic gift card in place where you found an opening. I would suggest using as many gift cards as necessary in between the seam. From here, you can slide the flat edge tool down across the seam in order to release the series of retention tabs holding these two surfaces together while you're actively separating them apart. While sliding the flat edge tool down across the seam, consistently maneuver the flat edge tool so you become familiar with how much pressure is necessary to apply to the grooves to the retention tabs to release them, and eventually you'll pry open the surface mounted cover, for the lack of a better word, from the enclosure. If you happen to damage some of the retention tabs along the way, don't worry, since it's inevitable due to how brittle the retention tabs are. In an effort to be less destructive, try using the plastic card to prevent further damage to the retention tabs if you can help it. Now, with the surface mounted cover removed, the drive is going to be held in place with a series of outer grommets and adhesives. Be careful when removing the adhesives so they don't rip, but Seagate makes such a task impossible to accomplish due to how cheap and brittle the adhesives are. To add insult to injury, Seagate had the audacity to include a warranty void if broken sticker across the SATA and power port, which is lame as fuck and has already been deemed as invalid and unenforceable in the US. So, if Seagate wants that smoke, they can easily get threatened with a fine from the FTC, but I ain't trying to go there though. Now that the drive has been retrieved from its enclosure of this expansion external hard drive, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screws that were covered by the outer grommets. You'll notice that the model of drive contained in the enclosure is a Barracuda, which tends to be a lower tier drive that Seagate offers. Crossing my fingers that hopefully this drive is capable of long-term usage as an internal disk drive for a desktop computer, since there's a likely chance it can fail on me without notice, but that's where backups come in. Just bear in mind that this drive that I received may not be the outcome you may encounter. And one last thing of note, if you do encounter leftover residue from removing the adhesives, while using a paper towel, try rubbing firelighter fluid over said residue stain, and that should help remove whatever is left over without fail. And you're welcome. So, as I wrap up this video, feel free to let me know in the comments, what were your thoughts about the presentation I gave? If you're interested in this type of content as it relates to saving money on PC parts while getting more bang for your buck, hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell icon to turn on all your notifications so you don't miss a thing. And also, if you made it this far into the video, I want to sincerely thank you for watching. So until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, this is Frank Mula signing out. Holla at me.